Prime Minister Frendel Stewart says government is examining union proposals to allow some public servants who have lost their jobs to receive early pensions. However, speaking at the NUPW's 70th Annual General Conference last evening, the Prime Minister explained that it was not a simple process.
According to General Secretary of the National Union of Public Workers, Dennis Clark, the last salary increase for the entire public service was in 2009. Since then, he says efforts to get a wage hike have been stunted in the midst of the prevailing economic climate. The NUPW leader says the union has pursued other options, including an adjustment that will allow public servants to get part of their pensions early. It's among 14 proposals submitted to government that the union intends to revisit shortly.
We have had one round of negotiation on those proposals. There has been no agreement on any item. We need to rise up and get back to the table and show our relevance. And I think the Ministry of Civil Service can rest assured I'm coming back at them shortly with the 14-point plan, including proposals for salary increase. We conceded over the 4 years, and now we are disappointed. The employer must now act in good faith because we have gotten nothing for the 4 years.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Stewart says government is aware of the union's efforts. However, he notes that a recent Caribbean Court of Justice ruling in the Winton Campbell case has implications for any decision made.
The court has decided that pension rights do not accrue immediately on the abolition of a post, but that the affected public servant must wait until he or she has attained the pensionable age. Both of these matters continue to engage the government's careful attention, since the implications for public expenditure cannot be ignored as the pension bill of the government continues to spiral upwards.
The Prime Minister told the meeting the size of the public sector remains a troubling issue, and he's asked the NUPW to continue to help with the reform efforts. He also wants more done to encourage those who have lost jobs to use facilities provided to assist them.
National Insurance Scheme support, the retraining fund of $10 million, and counseling and financial advice provided by various agencies, especially advice to help them to retool, to regroup, and to relearn. The government appreciates the NUPW's support for its members and looks forward to the active promotion of the use of the retraining fund.
Prime Minister Stewart also believes the private sector members in the social partnership need to play a more active role in creating jobs in Barbados. Sean Farrell, CBC News.
It is costing government nearly $80 million to house public workers. In making that disclosure, the Prime Minister says his administration continues to try to provide adequate accommodation for staff. He made the comment at the NUPW's conference.
Government's rental bill for office space, predominantly for public workers, is fast approaching $80 million per annum. Proof, were any needed, that accommodation is being treated as a key condition of service and one for which the NUPW has been prepared to fight. Government continues to demonstrate its commitment to remedying the serious accommodation problem, with modern facilities being provided recently at Warren's and at Webster Business Park, among others.
Well, General Secretary of the NUPW, Dennis Clark, also noted that apart from issues with retrenchment, the transition to a revenue authority and failure to pay temporary workers, there were major health and safety challenges at some departments.
This is months now that the building in which they are housed have been condemned. They have actually been evicted, and nothing has been done. The workers are falling sick on the job. It means then that the Attorney General got to be careful that NUPW's lawyer does not come through on behalf of those workers. Has the department got to understand how serious this matter of duty of care is on the job? We are not seeing it.
The local credit union movement is getting some solid support from the regional credit union umbrella body in its call for government to reverse the decision to tax credit unions' assets for a year. Along with other financial institutions, President of the Caribbean Confederation of Credit Unions, Aaron Moses, describes it as a bad move by government. In a statement backing the Barbados Cooperative Credit Union League, he also says no similar taxation has been imposed on credit unions around the region.
And we call on the policymakers to urgently meet, to urgently sit and dialogue with the Barbados Cooperative and Credit Union League to discuss this issue and to fully understand and appreciate the consequences of a policy decision that can have negative impact on the lives of more than half of the population of Barbados.
Industrial action by workers at United Commercial Auto Works Limited is over. Since Wednesday, workers at the Roebuck Street Company have been refusing to carry out repairs on Transport Board buses. That's because they have not been paid since last Friday. As a result of the action, the Transport Board diverted its work to external garages.
This morning, 140 Ukal workers continued to dung tools for a third straight day, protesting the non-payment of their weekly salaries. As a result, General Secretary of the Barbados Workers Union, Sir Roy Trotman, who's also chairman of Ukal, held an emergency meeting with them for just over 2.5 hours at the union's Solidarity House headquarters. At the end of the talk, Sir Roy succeeded in getting the workers to return to work, pending payment of their salaries next week.
The workers have been urged by me to resume work, although they have not yet been paid. And they have done this on the basis of the request I have made of them, given the assurances that we were made last night. The chairman said that he would organize to have a letter sent off to our banks indicating that there was going to be the comfort of the honoring of the master check.
But Ukal delegate John Jones says they have agreed to resume work until next Wednesday, and if no monies are forthcoming by then, more industrial action will follow.
We haven't met with the chairman. I've decided to go back to work. No, so to give him time to get his business started. So if next week and we don't get money, then the same thing will happen again.
Sir Roy says Ukal is owed $19 million by the state-owned Transport Board, and repeated efforts to get the former BLP and DLP governments to sort out the matter have not yielded any results.
I believe that Ukal has been under threat for many years now, and the rumors that the workers have been hearing from people who purport to know what is happening, that those rumors would suggest that Ukal is under serious threat. Why we should be under threat, I can never tell, because this is the greatest thing that has happened to worker democracy on the face of this island, and both governments have been committed to it. So if Ukal is under threat, it is because either one or the other of the governments, or both political parties that have formed the government, no longer believe that workers should have a share in the cake.
Ukal was set up in 1997 as part of an arrangement by the Transport Board to farm out its workshop duties in a worker ownership shareholding accord. Peter Thorne, CBC News.
A St. George family is in mourning tonight following the shooting deaths of a Barbadian man and his American-born son in the United States. Dead is 63-year-old Siebert Colmake Prescott and his 30-year-old son Roger Bennett of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. They died following a dispute with 3 other people. One of them, 48-year-old Vincent Jones, is now facing 2 counts of first-degree murder. Prescott lived at Todd's Land, St. George before leaving Barbados 35 years ago to work on a farm labor contract in the United States. Well, today, CBC caught up with his niece, Glendine, and 2 of Prescott's sisters, Norma Patrick and Ernesta Prescott, who said they had fond, loving memories of Prescott as a non-violent, loving man.
Quiet fella, sporty, make a lot of joke, but yup. Sometimes he bring some licks and we bought up and all kind of things. He get off on bicycle and ride all about because he used to work in park and beaches at that point of time.
Well, a loving fellow because he's full of joke, he make sport with everybody. And if you try to interfere with he or any sibling belonging to he will bite you up. That's the most I could tell you. He ain't gonna put the fist on you, he ain't hold and he ain't bite you. He like biting. Which you should know that too. But other than that, he wasn't violent as far as I know about.
I know he was a kind brother. As he says, he left here and he went away for the contract and he never come back. Spent 35 years. 35 years I saw my brother face. But he did a very kind, loving brother.
The police are investigating a robbery which occurred at Foster's Bakery at Rockley New Road, Christchurch, around 9:30 this morning. They say two men, one armed with a gun, reportedly stole an undisclosed sum of money from employees. However, no one was injured in the incident. The police are appealing to anyone who may have information on this incident to contact the nearest police station. And 3 Barbadian men are now on remand until April the 25th at Her Majesty's Prison at Dodds. They appeared in the District A Magistrates Court today, jointly charged for the offence of aggravated burglary. Those men are 27-year-old Joshua Dale Medford of Lot 3, number 56, Kensington Lodge, St. Michael. 28-year-old Denmar McCarthy Safri of Smith Corner, Sergeant's Village, Christchurch. And 31-year-old Lance Ryan Padmore of Fairfield Crossroad, Blackrock, St. Michael. The police say the men were charged with the offence, which occurred at Winning Street Incorporated, situated at the corner of Marhill and St. Michael's Row in Bridgetown. The burglary occurred on March the 24th. Well, lawmen have questioned Nation journalist Barry Allen at the District A police station in connection with an article he wrote regarding an opposition walkout of Parliament on July the 16th last year. Opposition MPs raised concerns about how House Speaker Michael Carrington handled the proceedings, and those statements were reported by journalist Allen and published in the newspaper. The matter was referred to the Director of Public Prosecutions for police to start criminal investigations. Allen was accompanied to the police station by his lawyer, publisher Vivian Ann Gittins, and editor-in-chief Roy Morris. In other news tonight, the Royal Barbados Police Band is adapting to the times and has embraced new equipment, including electrical instruments, and officers have even taken to the microphone singing. Though not deviating from its original instruments, Director of Music, Senior Superintendent Keith Ellis, says the police band has been well received at home and abroad, recording a number of successes.
About 5 or 6 will sing. So we're now ready into pop, classical kind of thing, because we have to please our various publics. So hence we've brought on board the electric instruments, which lend themselves more ready to accompany the vocalists.
The police band will be undertaking several fundraising initiatives as it prepares to celebrate its 125th anniversary.
We'll be at the Barbados Defence Force on Saturday night, March 29th. The entertainers there will be DJ Cupid, Admiral Nelson HD, and Soca Cartel, Blood and Mikey, and we have a guest act with us, Hyper Songs. Food and drinks will be on sale, and we are hoping that the Barbadian public will come out and support the Royal Barbados Police Force Band in our fundraising venture.
Well, agriculture continues to be a topical issue. It certainly came under scrutiny recently when noted academic Professor George Lamming delivered the first lecture in the Barbados Museum and Historical Society's 2014 series. He pointed to the inextricable link that exists between agriculture and culture. Sherwood McCaskey reports.
The problem is, how do you decolonize the eating habits of a people who have surrendered their very palates to foreign control? The synonym of breakfast is Kellogg's.
Professor George Lamming regards this as the recurring cultural problem which any Minister of Agriculture continually faces, noting that agriculture was indeed the first culture and that no one is exempt from the demands of material life. The process described by culture has its roots in the practice of agriculture.
The first and essential meaning of culture is, therefore, the means whereby men and women feed themselves, clothe and shelter themselves, the means whereby they achieve and reproduce their material existence.
Professor Lamin spoke of the continuing constraints placed on the power to exercise sovereignty and our freedom of self-definition.
And if there is one area in which we can identify the neglect, even the abandonment of cultural sovereignty, it is in the area of food production.
Sherwood McCaskey, CBC News.